So I've started the recording.
Mm.
Fine. I'm starting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, Hi everyone. On the podcast today, we're joined by YASHAS. He spent 2 years at Daimler, working in the automotive space, and later joined the world of consulting during his internship at Bosch in Germany. He's got some great stories and insights to share. Let's get started. So, hi Yashas, thanks a lot for agreeing to come on my podcast. I believe the podcast would be helpful to a lot of people who are planning on going to Europe and Germany. So, thanks a lot for coming today.
always my pleasure, Varshit, speaking to you.
So, Yashas, starting off right away, um, so typically with a lot of people in India, right? A lot of students that are from an engineering background. At what point of time did you think that management is an area that you wanted to explore? And how did your experience at Daimler as well as your engineering background influence that particular shift?
Okay, so Varshit, at Daimler, so I was working closely with the e-commerce team, and I was also supporting few other business requirements. So that is when I realized the technical work that I'm doing has a real impact only when it supports the larger business goal of an organization. So
Mhm.
while supporting the cross-functional projects at Daimler as well, I genuinely I enjoyed planning, I enjoyed coordinating with other different teams. So that experience, it made me see that management role, it allows you to drive larger business impact.
Mhm.
So and also it has a larger impact. It allows you to influence decisions and shape the overall dimension of a project. So
Mhm.
my engineering background, it still helps me. It gives me a structured and a logical way of thinking. So it helps me understand the feasibility before making any business decision. So this was the main reason which made me shift from technical to the management side.
Okay. And uh, I understand why you came to the management side. Now, the follow-up question I have to that is, we are already a part of a degree that is unconventional in nature, right? And given your experience that you have had studying in India, studying management in India and studying management in Europe, what are some unique aspects that you learned from an Indian workspace culture, and what are some aspects you learned from a European space culture that, shaped your approach to management in itself?
So speaking about management, so I had an opportunity to intern at Bosch in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So something that I observed there was very supportive environment. So
Mm-hmm.
even though I didn't have consulting background prior to joining Bosch,
Mm-hmm.
I was involved in almost all the client meeting with my managers. So they
Mm-hmm.
always encouraged me to ask more questions, and I also had an opportunity to with all the clients that we were working on all the projects. I had an opportunity to discuss and get to know their perspective on what they are thinking, and
Okay.
that is one thing. And next, there was high trust and autonomy. So managers especially in Europe, they give you the freedom to do the work the way you want to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and they expect you to finish it well before the deadline. So
Yeah.
another aspect is exposure to diverse culture. So in Bosch, I had an opportunity to work with different people from the different nationalities. So getting to know their perspective on how they think, they come from different backgrounds, different
Mm-hmm.
degree in consulting. So getting to know their perspective on all the business requirement, that is what was completely a different side from an Indian aspect.
Okay. And as you mentioned that you worked at Bosch, right, in the consulting
Mhm.
domain. Now, this
Mhm.
sort of a role from a company like Bosch is a little bit unconventional, right? Because consulting, whenever someone hears consulting, they either think McKinsey, Bain, BCG, or the Big Four. So,
Mhm.
what was your particular role at Bosch like? Can you just give a brief about that?
So in Bosch, it was more of in-house consulting. So the client that I was working on was on the ADAS division, that is Advanced Driver Assistance
Mm-hmm.
division of Bosch. So the major I mean, if I can get into the project that I was doing, the major work that I was doing was on the value chain analysis of the
Okay.
ADAS division of Bosch. So
Mm-hmm.
it was more of an in-house consulting rather than external. So the
Ah.
clients were of Bosch employees itself. So yeah, that's
And if you can you just walk us through what your entire application process was like? How did you apply for this role and your entire interview experience?
Yeah, sure. So Bosch, I directly applied to the website given my background in
Mm-hmm.
automotive engineering, and I wanted to get into consulting. I felt Bosch was the right company, so I had applied to their own website. And coming to the application process, it was just a one round interview. So
Mm-hmm.
it was, I guess there were around four interviewers. So initially, it started with a guesstimate how a typical
Okay.
consulting interview begins,
Mm-hmm.
and then followed by few of the consulting frameworks like Voters, Five Forces, all the basic frameworks.
Great.
And
Yeah.
they wanted me to, explain how my work ex at Daimler,
Mm-hmm.
how I could, bring in that experience in Bosch. So they're mainly trying to figure out the cultural fit and all the other aspects. So the interview lasted for an hour, and yeah, that was it. Was like more of a conversational interview rather than Q&A.
And at any point of time during your application itself or during your internship, did you feel that there was a cultural barrier or a language barrier, or it was all like you felt it was accommodative enough and the language wasn't a primary issue as well?
Uh, no, I wouldn't say that language was an issue. Even while working in Bosch, most of the employees, they used to communicate in German, but they
Mm-hmm.
never made me feel left alone. So whenever I was with them, they made sure that they communicate in English. But
Okay.
yeah, even during the interview, they asked me what my German skills are. So I just told them that I'm trying to learn German, which was the case. So it's more of, you need to tell them that you're trying to learn the language and you're
Mm-hmm.
giving your best.
Okay. Now, from an academic point of view, right? So we've both of us have already studied a lot in India, right? Given our UG as well as the MBA experience that we're having. Is there anything that you learned during your time uh, in Europe, like specifically Germany and Paris, the two countries that you lived in? Any particular
Uh,
framework or any particular learning that you had that significantly changed the way you think about problem solving or just working in general?
okay, so here something that I would like to talk about is the case discussion that we used to have during all our lectures. So
Mhm.
ESCP's case discussion, it helped me think beyond numbers. So it helped
Mhm.
me understand the incentives, the people, and the cultural, I mean, behind all the decisions. So
Mhm.
mainly also moving from Berlin to Paris campus, it mainly showed me how environment and cultural changes and various leadership styles involved within an organization.
Mhm.
And also we worked in diverse groups. As you know, I mean, we were part of various projects at TSAP. So working on
Mhm.
diverse group projects, it taught me how to structure problems and better collaborate within your own group. I mean, people come from different nationalities, so how to think differently. So mainly keeping an open mind, I would say. So that is something that was mainly one of my learnings at TSAP.
Okay. And a follow-up to that, like if I share my experience, Yashas, is that if there is a problem that we face as of right now, I feel like the entire experience that we have had ever since we've joined this program, it has actually trained us to think in a way that, yeah, we'll be able to manage it properly. I believe such sort of a learning wasn't there prior to this. This is what I felt
Exactly.
is that this is something positive that we can take out of this entire experience. So I just wanted your opinion on that, whether you also feel the same way.
Yes, I completely agree on that,
Yeah.
Varshit. So yeah, one thing is again, as I mentioned, staying
Yeah.
open-minded and getting adaptable. So every now and then there are different challenges while
Mhm.
studying and working at Europe. So getting adaptable and getting adjusted to new situation, that is something that I was not very comfortable back then. But
Mhm.
right now, and even the confidence, no matter what the situation is,
Mhm.
now there's some confidence that you will be able to handle it.
Yeah.
So that is something very positive, I would say.
Mhm. And the entire experience about job hunting in itself as well, right? Because I think in India, if you are on a good college, any decent college, you can bank on campus placements, right? But I think Europe has also trained us to actually go out and actually look for a job, experience what it's like. So I think that's also one of the positive experience that a lot of students can have is actually learn how to find a job and apply your skills into it. I think,
Exactly.
yeah, that's another positive that we can have.
Another thing, if I can, I mean, getting
Yeah,
used to the rejection. So that is
exactly.
something which I don't know. I was not
Mhm.
very comfortable back then as well. But
Mhm.
right in Europe, searching for all the internship, getting used to the rejection daily. I mean, receiving
Yes.
lots of rejection mails from all the companies. I mean, that is something which has, I mean, a lot of positives, I would say.
Mhm. And a lot of talk goes around the fact that the European job market is bad. I felt that there were enough opportunities that a person could apply to. And
Hmm.
I can't compare it with, on a year-on-year basis. But as far as your experience went, did you find that there were less number of opportunities, or did you find that sufficient number of opportunities were there, and any candidate with the right skills could find an internship?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that there were less opportunities. The thing is, I mean, you should be able to match your prior work ex with the company that you're applying. And I guess most of us, I mean, at least talking about myself, I received a decent number of shortlists as well. The
Mm-hmm.
thing is, you'll need to, be very clear with what the company is looking for.
Mm-hmm.
At least in Europe, the major thing that they look for is, yeah, one is soft skills, of course, and
Yeah.
mainly the cultural fit. So they'll mainly look for your motivation. What's the motivation
Mm-hmm.
behind applying for the job? And another thing is the cover letter I mean, that is
Exactly.
something that I would recommend
Yeah.
anyone looking for internship in Europe. Don't
Mm-hmm.
neglect the cover letter part.
Yeah.
So that is something that the company is gonna look because
Mm-hmm.
they mainly focus is on the intention. Why is it that a candidate is applying for this job?
Mm-hmm.
How is it? How is he or she the right fit?
Yeah.
So that is something, yeah, I would like to say.
That's definitely true. So, Yashas, coming to my last question, is there a final learning or a final piece of advice that you would like to give to our viewers who are planning to just like enter MBA or who are planning to travel abroad as well? Any final piece of advice that you would like to give to the viewers?
Uh, One thing is, yeah, being adaptable. So I mean, if you're planning to apply to Europe, at least travel across Europe. So
Yeah.
something that I observed is every country, it has its own pace, own
Mhm.
culture. So I mean, moving across places taught me that, you'll need to adjust quickly and stay open-minded. That is
Mhm.
one thing. And next is respect for diversity. So at least in ESCP, we met people from different countries. So I met people from many nationalities, and it made me, more aware of what their perspectives are, what their daily habits are, and the
Mhm.
communication style. So apart from that, one more thing that if I can say is being more independent and confident. So be confident if you're, I mean, there are gonna be down times wherein you might face rejections when you're
Yeah.
applying for internship, but the only thing is you'll need to stay positive and have the right spirit. So yeah,
Mhm.
these are some advices that I could give.
And I think one of the things that we also learn and we should actually try to incorporate in case a person is moving back to India is actually learning how to have a proper work-life balance as well.
Yes,
You
exactly.
will learn that staying in Europe and actually understand that, yeah, this is the way we can actually have peace of mind too. So, yeah, I think
Yes, I agree on that.
yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, Yashash. Thanks a lot for coming onto this podcast. I believe people will have a lot to learn from the insight that you have shared. So thanks again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Varsha. It was great speaking to you.